Okay. I think we are good. Everything looks strong going through. Good. Okay. All right. So this is the daily encounter. Been doing this for just over a week now. Using this kind of 5-year journal to drop some sort of tiny little encounter idea in. Like I said, we've done a few days now. Started on the 26th. Now what? Today's the 4th, so made some decent progress. Let's see. Yesterday, just to review, yesterday's encounter is called "Where Are You Taking Us?" All of a sudden, the party is carried away by a D6. D6 what? Number 1 is a giant bird. 2 is a giant. 3 is a whirlwind. 4 spirits. 5 an unseen force. 6 mechanical arms. But why does this, whatever it is, carry them away? We have D8 reasons. 1, someone's hungry. 2, the party is needed somewhere else. 3, mistaken identity. 4, the wizard's command. 5, they are on sacred ground. 6, moving the party out of harm's way. 7, revenge. And 8, to be sacrificed. So that brings us to today, 10-4. I've got this. It feels like training wheels that I have all this space that I could be using up top, and maybe I should be doing that more, because using the 4 or 5 lines is not easy for me. It's not what I'm used to. But first we need a prompt. Can't just go in completely dry. So we'll use the back of the book list of prompts I made and do a D100 roll to see where we're going to get some inspiration from. Oh, low number, something early. Number 8. Number 8 back here. Oh, I like that. Forgiving souls. Forgiving souls. So one of the reasons that I like these prompts like this is that there's a number of ways you can take that, right? Forgiving souls can be, I guess, taken somewhat literally. Could be talking about spirits that are forgiving, which is normally you have ghosts taking vengeance, things like that. So forgiving souls, that's an interesting, but you could also take it sort of literally the other way. It could be for giving souls. It could be about an item, or it could be about a ritual that is actually for contributing souls or spirits. Could really go either way with that. I kind of like taking it that way, actually. Maybe I'm just not in a forgiving type of mood. Because something forgiving souls could be, it's more about extraction. Could be a set of tools. Could be fun to think about. Maybe it's a, I guess it wouldn't be a cleric. It'd be, a dark cleric could be like a necromancer. Maybe that's where we're headed. What does the necromancer in town, what are they doing? How are they doing it? Maybe that's what I want to know. fitting anyway. We're in the spooky month. So maybe that's where we go. Let me get the right pen for this. Hey, what's up, Wyatt? Welcome to the stream. I think this is right. Let's see. It's a prompt here. The dead. The dead are in town. Maybe that's what that's the I'm gonna kick things off here. I like that. Okay. So the dead around town. And maybe that's the maybe that's where it starts. The idea is that hey Dalton, good morning to you. Is that the party notices, or maybe the town notices, there's something odd regarding activity of the dead, necromancer, things like that. So maybe where we start this is folks have begun to notice. Okay. So then we'll build a list from that. I'm not sure how big the list is going to be, but the list starts at 1. So we know that there's a necromancer doing something. And the clue to that is going to be something around town, something that's changed or begun happening that has people alerted. So the first thing that comes to mind to me is that there would be a smell, right? Folks have begun to notice a terrible smell. Folks might also notice like not necessarily like disrupted earth, but I almost feel like, you know, things being buried, like mounds of dirt, maybe. Mounds of dirt. Yeah, I like mounds of dirt. Other signs of weird necromancer activity would be, I feel like there'd either be a lot less animal activity or a lot more, maybe more of a certain kind. So like certain wildlife would be missing, but maybe there'd be, you know, scavengers, maybe there'd be wolves. Oh, Dalton, it's not a distraction at all. You just want to say other comment? Well, thank you. What a cool little surprise to wake up, see you starting your process of making an encounter. Yeah, this has been a new thing just for like the past week or so because I've had this this Midori 5-year journal sitting on my shelf. I don't know if you ever have that feeling. It's like it's a really cool notebook, but then you need a cool idea for it, and it just sits there empty. It's like, I don't have an idea good enough to like actually start breaking that thing, to start making a mess of it. And so I was thinking about that one morning and thought, well, it'd be kind of fun every day, especially because the stuff that I build and the stuff that I design tends to be really big. I'm like, I wonder if I can make something meaningful in 5 lines, and then do that every day, and then who knows if we'll get to multiple years and what that will become. But yeah, it's been interesting. I don't normally do this much designing around dice tables. It's just not how my approach usually goes, but it's been really nice. I feel like I want something more overt. So a terrible smell is fairly obvious. Mounds of dirt, I want to push this a little bit further. So what if they notice people acting weird? It's because they are back to life effectively, but strange, off-putting people acting strange. I think that's maybe a. You have a few empty notebooks. Maybe you should try. Hey, that'd be super fun. I mean, I was inspired by. I've seen people do stuff like this before, usually with like dungeon designs and stuff like that. But I've never tried it myself, so it's been. Yeah, heck yeah! If you think it'd be fun, give it a shot. Hey, what's up, Jesse? Good morning, good morning. You too, Wyatt? Nice. Okay. So to recap, we've got this idea playing with the idea of a necromancer in town. Necromancer's up to something. And folks have begun to notice, I don't know how big this list is yet, but number 1, a terrible smell. Number 2, mounds of dirt. Number 3, people acting odd and not breathing, right? So maybe some of the dead already coming to life. And I'm trying to push this further than just sort of the obvious stuff. Like I started pretty weak with this list. A terrible smell, mounds of dirt. Okay. That's probably most necromancer situations, but people acting odd, like the dead risen and just walking around in town, that would be pretty bizarre. That's not going to be every necromancer necessarily. I wonder if a necromancer's activity could change things in town, like maybe the water, right? Or even other, if there's a temple, certainly would probably be different. Or maybe even if people would. It's almost like the corruption like infects everyone in some strange way. Maybe everyone's having terrible nightmares. Maybe that's one way. Wyatt, some Halloween themed characters. Yeah, that could be fun. Taking like tropes of Halloween and expanding them into more fleshed out characters, pun intended. guess this is going to be at least a list of 6. Everyone keeps stubbing their toe. Shouldn't we be playing spooky games? It is that time of year. Maybe I need to go back to my list of scary games, play something spooky. What would be is abyssal? Would that be the type of, I'm trying to, what would be like the hellish or like some sort of dark kind of occult language? Would it just be abyssal, or is there another one that I should think of? Because I feel like if everyone's writing was abyssal, abyssal's demonic. Thank you. Could be either one. Infernal, abyssal. It's the basic idea. One more. Something bizarre. Like, what if the moon seemed closer, right? Or maybe the moon is changing color, you know? Or maybe the nights are longer. Ooh, I like that. The nights are longer. Hey, Trifoam. Yeah, what better way to spend the whole day. I like that. I like nights are getting longer. That would be a fun way to sort of introduce that idea. Turns out a necromancer is trying to... Okay, so this one ended up being a D6. Might be some doubt that it's anything other than something natural first until it's super noticeable length of time. Yeah. Well, I like it because it could go multiple ways, right? Why you started D&D. Map. Nice. Turns out a necromancer is trying to about prepare for war. You know, you may be upset with the necromancer's methods, but if everyone believed him or her that the orcs were planning an attack, hey, they need all the help they can get, he can raise an army of undead. People can pick apart the ethics of that later. He doesn't care. Or she doesn't care. They don't care. I've always thought that can a D&D boss be any type? Do you mean any type of monster, Wyatt? I think so. I think every monster can be a boss. It's actually a stream idea that I'd like to pursue. Just like I've every mini is a character. I think every monster is a boss. It's just a matter of scaling them up or scaling them in some way, or even down sometimes. Yep, I'd say so. I feel like a necromancer could be a historian. You know, maybe they're trying to figure something out. People, the dead are the only ones with the answers. The necromancer's trying to trying to learn something, or is trying to find some long dead knowledge, let's say. Find long lost knowledge. That's how I'd phrase it, I think. Looks like this one will probably just be a D4. Trifoam, a historian like that would definitely grow in experience casting Speak with Dead. Yeah. And it would almost be, there'd be other evidence, I feel like, of their research. But then at a certain point, they're like, okay, this is taking too long. If I just bring everybody that's in this town's cemetery back, somebody's gonna, I'll speak to all of them at once and cut through the noise here. So preparing for war, finding these are noble pursuits. Sometimes necromancers, though, have dark deeds to do. Revenge is probably too simple. It begs the question. What are they after? Necromancers trying to, you know, perfect something. They're trying to get it right, maybe. And the fact that it's affecting people or bringing things alive, dead, back and forth is of no matter. Maybe they need test subjects for their work. Hey, what's up, Matisse? We are fleshing out this encounter. You can do exclamation point stream if you want to get a breakdown. But I think you've been here for one of these, Matisse. The premise right now is the dead around town. Folks have begun to notice the D6 list, either a terrible smell, mounds of dirt, people acting odd and not breathing, terrible nightmares, or everyone's writing abyssal, or the nights are getting longer, maybe all of those. And it turns out the necromancer is trying to, 1, prepare for war, 2, find long lost knowledge. I think 3 is trying to create test subjects, I think. This list might be a D4 list, which is okay. I'm fitting 2 D6s is always a bit tricky. Trifoam, loneliness and misguided personality wants to host a party every night. Members, so out of pure loneliness, they're raising the dead for friends. That's not a terrible idea. I kind of like that idea. I think we've got let's say create test subjects. It's trying to find ways to return lost love. Yeah, I feel like that one could be. I feel like lost love, and I think it's cure their own loneliness. So, where's my D4? So with a 1 and a 2, folks have begun to notice a terrible smell. Turns out a necromancer is trying to find long-lost knowledge. Got a 5. So a 5 and a 3. Folks have begun to notice that everyone in town is writing abyssal. Turns out a necromancer is trying to create test subjects. That works. D6 with a D4. Yeah, a lot of these have basically become, you know, a combination of roles that could turn into lots of other things. That's what each day's encounter has really become so far. Jesse, you know what the boss could be? What could the boss be? Why you made small boss crystal that summons in minions. That's a great way to build something like that. So this is now really only the second day that I've used the D100 prompts at the back. So I have front and back options here. Trifoam, is this like a hex crawl reference? Not really. Really, it's just kind of combining two things. One is I had this book. I didn't really have any great idea for using it. And it, with these forced tiny little entries, which as you can tell, I always write too much. And I want to make encounter conversations, encounter design more of a regular thing. Plus, I don't really design rolling tables. I've been doing that a little bit more since I've been working on my one-shots, prepping them for publish. I've been making them because I know people use them, but I'm still trying to find the right way for me to use them. And honestly, in this last week, I'm like, oh, I can... The combination of these things is a really interesting way to bring about... It's like a brainstorming that works for me, right? So, for instance, it starts, I think, with these prompts. And I spent a good deal of time building this list because I didn't want it to be garbage. So like, you know, through infinity, over and around. Like for me, these phrases, these ideas, like today's came from this number 8, forgiving souls. Except I decided to read it as for giving souls, which led us to necromancer, and that's where we got today. So that prompt process has been really engaging so far. And then building these lists In some cases, it's like, okay, if I combine terrible nightmares with the necromancers trying to find this long lost knowledge, now we've got this idea of the town having like collective shared memories about that knowledge, nightmares about what the necromancer is trying to draw out. And I didn't have that idea before, but now that I do, I'm like, that would be a really compelling villain, where it's like this person is terrorizing a town, but you know, for noble reasons from their perspective, but that the way that would show up, and the way that could like grow over time, where initially it's just a couple of instances and a couple of weird unexplained events, and then it turns into this massive, like, it's affecting the party as well, and it becomes maybe this mystery that they can then sort of help solve. It's not necessarily go destroy the necromancer, it's if they can just figure this out. Trifoam, that's a good point. Is the terror on purpose? Well, perhaps. Hey, Rogashal, welcome to the stream. Perhaps they've sort of uncovered accidentally that makes it easier, that makes it stronger, that makes it easier for them to draw out that information faster. So maybe it's like they're aware of it, maybe they're not proud of it, but they're willing to do it. You know, knowledge is power, right? Cool. Awesome. Well, great. So now we're on is this a 3-day streak? I started out terribly with a couple of like double and triple dailies. But this isn't really supposed to be a lengthy stream. Just pop in the morning or maybe at lunch. Still figuring out the best time every day to do it, but 3 in a row. Starting to feel like a real thing now. Matisse, I agree. Necromancers are cool. Wyatt, lore, scapes, pieces are cool. Gives you ideas for D&D maps. Nice. All right, well, that'll do it. That's it. The daily encounter has been fed. And I've got some fun new ideas to think about. I'll probably flesh these out at some point. Maybe I'll put some of the bigger ideas on my Patreon at some point. We'll see. That Patreon that doesn't yet exist. Anyway, thanks everybody for hanging out. Thanks for helping. Thanks, Dalton. I appreciate you. And we'll do it again tomorrow. I'll be on, I think, this afternoon doing something else. Something else that I do daily. You be well also, Trifoam. See you, Jesse. Good luck with your workday. And we'll see you guys next time. See you, Matisse.